Greetings, this is KYC News. I respectfully request that you stay with me. The relationship between Poland and Israel must evolve.
Make Ukraine a candidate for membership in the European Union, according to the European Union Commission. Extraditing Assange will damage media freedom in the United Kingdom, according to the UK. Priti Patel, the UK Home Secretary, has given permission for Julian Assange to be handed over to US authorities in the closing stages of an epic battle against extradition. Her ruling sets a frightening precedent for journalists and publishers, undermining press freedom in a country that was once seen as a leader in the fight for free speech. On April 20, the UK's Westminster Magistrates Court granted the journalist and WikiLeaks founder's extradition after a high-profile campaign and many appeal stages.
Since 2018, Assange has been incarcerated in a high-security jail on allegations of violating the U.S. Espionage Act. Priti Patel, the Home Secretary, made the final judgment on the extradition on June 17.
The Home Office's decision to extradite Julian Assange reveals its culpability in weakening press freedom at the same time as it professes to be a world leader on freedom of expression, said Quinn McHugh, Executive Director of Article 19. It also sends a troubling message to the rest of the world that journalists, activists, and anybody who uncovers critical truths about crimes, including those committed by governments and businesses, do not deserve to have their freedom of expression and information protected.
Priti Patel and the UK government are urged by Article 19 to reverse this decision.
Given the UK's status as a founding member of the Media Freedom Coalition, extraditing Assange has been viewed by human rights groups as a hypocritical act. The organization, which was founded in 2019, promised to fight for media freedom and journalist safety, and punish those who hurt journalists for doing their jobs accountable. The ruling is the latest blow to freedom of expression and human rights by the UK government. The government has just recently announced specifics of its plans to replace the Human Rights Act with a Bill of Rights, as well as its plans to adopt the Online Safety Bill.
The relationship between Poland and Israel must evolve.
The famous saying goes, "Every cloud has a silver lining." Things do not always work out for the best, but fortunately, sometimes they do, as may be the case in the newest edition of the Polish-Israeli dispute over history and its present-day implications. This time, the controversy revolves over Israeli youth's trips to Poland, where they visited Holocaust-related sites in significant numbers prior to the outbreak. They were arriving, visiting, marching in the March of the Living, and then departing with the impression that they had visited a murderous country.
Because it is home to Auschwitz, Treblinka, Beek, Chemno, and Sobibor. Modern teenagers are rarely interested in details such as the occupation of Poland and the mass death of Poles by Germans. They see persons in their immediate environment and simply aim their observations and charges of culpability or inaction towards them. This was made simpler by the trip organizers, who made little effort to convey the Holocaust's backdrop. They seemed to enjoy disregarding or concealing the fact that Germans were responsible for the crime, while tacitly supporting the process of painting Poland and Poles as the perpetrators. The nature of such travels, which were safeguarded by armed Israeli special forces agents and buses that were closely monitored, aided this process. The danger aura was skillfully created. Who did you get it from? The Poles of today. Gas chambers and crematoriums in the background shaped a lifelong attitude toward Poland for these visiting youth.
A distorted, often downright false past of Poland and the picture of a modern-day country full of purported dangers formed a very potent, emotional concoction. Following the outbreak, Poland refused to allow the excursions to continue in their previous form and suggested that talks be undertaken with Israel. These are currently taking place, according to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in the form of exchanging mutual views on a draft of a new agreement. This was a very bold and correct move on the Polish side, a move that would never have happened if it hadn't been for the recent history war waged between Warsaw and Jerusalem. It began with a change to the Act on the Polish Institute of National Remembrance, IPN, which made public discourse blaming Poland for the Holocaust illegal. That was only the beginning, as the Polish Prime Minister and Israeli officials who made statements about anti-Semitism ingested from mother's milk were subjected to harsh and dishonest accusations. It came to a close when both countries' ambassadors withdrew. Diplomats from Israel have returned to Warsaw, while the Poles have yet to arrive in Tel Aviv. Ironically, it was Israel that crossed the line and responded aggressively, allowing Poland to take previously unthinkable actions like modifying the regulations for organizing trips. The Polish government was given the chance to address the problem at its source, albeit this is only one source, and likely not the most important, and they took it. Of course, this is part of a larger picture. Israel's political elites handled Poland so cruelly, violently, and cynically that there isn't much to lose in this area now. It is the proper decision to take time to restore connections and act assertively, especially since it was not Poland that demolished the existing diplomatic apparatus. If relations are to be repaired, they must be done in a far more balanced manner than previously.
Alibaba's e-commerce unit now has a logistics arm in Pakistan.
Alibaba's logistics business, Daras Sainyao, announced on Friday that it will open 2 automated distribution centers in Karachi and Lahore as its first foray into Pakistan. Over the last decade, Alibaba's international development has taken the form of a mix of investment and integration. In 2018, the e-commerce behemoth paid an unknown sum for Pakistan's e-commerce portal Daras. It owns a stake in Turkey's Trendyol as well as Indonesia's Tokopedia and operates the online shopping service Lazada, which is neck and neck with Shopee in Southeast Asia.
Daras, like its twin Lazada, was founded in 2012 by the internet venture company Rocket Internet.
Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Myanmar, and other countries in the area are among the destinations. Daras refused to specify how many active users it has, only that it has served a potential user base of 500 million individuals and that gross merchandise volume, a rough indicator for e-commerce transactions, has increased by 85% in the last 2 years. Electric control units, software-based programmable logic controllers, PLC is critical for warehouse automation but traditionally is hardware-powered, Kanayo told TechCrunch, and a computing solution that promises to combine cloud capabilities with fast runtime on the edge will be included in the smart distribution centers. According to Sainyao, the warehousing solutions could cut manual labor in half and boost human productivity by 100%. Given Alibaba's global presence, it's hardly surprised that Sainyao will follow in Alibaba's footsteps into other countries. Sainyao already has 9 big foreign distribution centers spread across Europe, Asia, and the Americas, with ambitions to expand in Southeast Asia, South Asia, and Europe, according to the company's Vice President of Technology Ding Hongwei. Sainyao's integration into Alibaba's vast e-commerce portfolio appears to be the plan. On Alibaba's December results call, CEO Daniel Zhang said, "Logistic network growth is a priority in our globalization strategy since logistics is the underlying infrastructure enabling a high-quality consumer experience based on integrated product supply from cross-border and locally." Sainyao has been building a logistics network in Southeast Asia and Europe, using Lazada, AliExpress, and Trendyol's commerce use cases. Alibaba's cross-border e-commerce platform, AliExpress, primarily connects Chinese sellers with worldwide consumers. Make Ukraine a candidate for membership in the European Union, according to the European Union Commission. On Friday, the executive arm of the European Union proposed that Ukraine be designated as a candidate for EU membership, a first step in what is expected to be a long road for the war-torn country to join the 27-nation union. After a quick review of responses to a questionnaire, the European Commission proposed that Ukraine be granted candidate status. Less than a week after Russia invaded Ukraine, the Ukrainian government applied for EU membership. Ukrainians are willing to die for the European viewpoint, said Ursula von der Leyen, the Commission's president. The European desire is for them to live with us. At a conference next week in Brussels, the leaders of the bloc's current members are expected to discuss the recommendation. While the European Commission's support is a tremendous show of solidarity with Ukraine, it will take years, if not decades, for Ukraine to gain EU membership. To begin accession talks with a potential member, all member nations must agree unanimously. They have conflicting opinions on how rapidly Ukraine should be added to their ranks. However, Ukraine's ambition received a boost on Thursday when the leaders of France, Germany, Italy, and Romania paid a visit to the nation and pledged to support Kyiv's bid to become an official candidate. Potential immigrants must demonstrate that countries match EU standards on matters such as battling corruption and democratic ideals, as well as absorb over 80,000 pages of rules covering everything from trade and immigration to fertilizer and the rule of law, in order to be allowed. Yes, Ukraine deserves to be seen in a European light. It should be welcomed as a candidate country, but with the understanding that there is still more work to be done, von der Leyen said on Friday.
The entire process is based on merit. It follows the rules, thus progress is entirely dependent on Ukraine. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Please join our channel as a subscriber.